What could drive a region, once jubilant with newfound autonomy, to protest vehemently against its own government? In 2019, Ladakh was unshackled from the reins of Indian-administered Kashmir. This shift in governance, which saw Ladakh morph into a federally governed territory, was initially met with a surge of jubilation among its residents. They were hopeful, optimistic, and looking forward to a future where their lands and livelihoods would be safeguarded under the new regime. However, the initial joy and enthusiasm soon began to ebb away, gradually replaced by a rising tide of discontentment. The people of Ladakh found themselves grappling with a multitude of issues that threatened the very fabric of their existence. Firstly, the region's fragile ecology, with its unique biodiversity and delicate ecosystems, seemed to be under siege. The residents feared that their natural heritage, once preserved by the isolation of Ladakh, was now at risk of being trampled under the footprints of unchecked development and exploitation. Then there was the spectre of demographic change looming over the horizon. The revocation of Article 370 by the BJP government stripped away the exclusive rights of Ladakh's permanent residents, stoking fears of an impending demographic shift that could potentially dilute the region's distinct cultural identity. The lack of autonomy, the third major grievance, left the people of Ladakh feeling helpless and marginalized. They yearned for a greater say in the matters that directly impacted their lives, and so they rallied behind a demand for inclusion in the sixth schedule of India's constitution, a provision designed to protect the rights and interests of tribal and indigenous populations. As joy turned to anger, it became clear that the people of Ladakh felt betrayed by their own government. How did the traditionally divided districts of Leh and Kargil unite in their struggle for autonomy? This is a question that has puzzled many, but the answer lies in a shared sense of threat and a collective desire for self-determination. The genesis of this unity can be traced back to the abrogation of Article 370 by the BJP government in 2019. This decision stripped Ladakh of its special status and removed exclusive rights for its permanent residents. This sparked fear among the residents, who worried about demographic changes and felt a growing sense of alienation from the central government. For years, Leh and Kargil had been divided along cultural and political lines. Yet the existential threat posed by the abrogation of Article 370 brought these two districts together in an unprecedented show of unity. They found common ground in their shared concerns about the potential exploitation of their land and resources by outsiders. Community leaders from both districts rose to the occasion, forming groups to collectively address their concerns. These groups were not just a reaction to the government's decision, but a proactive measure to safeguard their rights and the unique cultural identity of Ladakh. They voiced their fears about the region's fragile ecology, potential demographic changes, and lack of autonomy. This unity was not just about resistance, but also about resilience. The people of Leh and Kargil understood that by uniting, they could amplify their voices and increase the chances of their demands being heard. Their unity symbolized a collective will to protect their land, their culture, and their way of life. In the face of adversity, Leh and Kargil found unity and strength. The story of their unity is a testament to the power of shared goals and the determination to fight for what one believes in. It's a story of the human spirit's resilience and the unyielding desire for autonomy and respect. Who is Sonam Wangchuk, and why has he become the face of this movement? Let's delve into the life of this renowned activist and understand his role in the ongoing protests in Ladakh. Sonam Wangchuk, an engineer by profession, has dedicated his life to the betterment of his homeland, Ladakh. The seeds of his activism were sown early in his life when he founded the Students' Educational and Cultural Movement of Ladakh, SECMOL, in the late 80s. His innovative approach to education, which combines traditional knowledge with modern techniques, has garnered international acclaim. Yet Wangchuk's contributions extend beyond the realm of education. He is a tireless advocate for the rights and autonomy of the Ladakhi people. His deep connection to Ladakh's unique culture and fragile ecology has fueled his activism, making him a respected figure in the region and a beacon of hope for many. In the face of the Indian government's decision to turn Ladakh into a federally governed territory, Wangchuk has emerged as a powerful voice against potential threats to the region's delicate balance. He has been at the forefront of the protests, rallying the people of Ladakh to demand safeguards to protect their land, livelihoods, and tribal identity. His influence on the movement is undeniable. Wangchuk's articulate speeches and thought-provoking discussions have not only galvanized the traditionally divided districts of Leh and Kargil, but have also drawn global attention to the issues plaguing Ladakh. His call for inclusion in the 6th schedule of India's constitution to protect the region's tribal and indigenous populations has resonated with many, further fueling the demand for autonomy and more safeguards. Wangchuk's dedication to his homeland and his tireless advocacy have placed him at the heart of this movement. His ability to unite diverse groups under a common cause and his unwavering commitment to the rights and autonomy of the Ladakhi people have made him an emblem of resistance against the central government's decisions. Sonam Wangchuk, an activist, an educator, but above all, a voice for the people of Ladakh. His story is a testament to the power of a single voice in sparking change, and he remains a beacon of hope in Ladakh's fight for autonomy and self-determination. How has the Indian government responded to these protests? This is a question that has been echoing in the minds of many. The government, in its efforts to placate the mounting discontent, formed a committee to address the concerns of the protesters. The committee was tasked with the heavy responsibility of navigating the intricate tapestry of demands, fears, and aspirations of the people of Ladakh. The government has made assurances promising to uphold the rights of the Ladakhis and protect the region's unique cultural and ecological identity. There have been talks of implementing safeguards to prevent demographic changes and resource exploitation by outsiders. The government has also committed to preserving the region's fragile ecosystem and alleviating water stress due to climate change. However, these assurances haven't quelled the rising tide of discontent. The people of Ladakh continue to push for greater autonomy and the extension of the 6th schedule of the Indian constitution. This provision, they believe, is crucial for the protection of their tribal identity and the preservation of their lands and livelihoods. The unity of Leh and Kargil residents in their demand for rights and safeguards is a testament to their shared concerns and collective determination. Despite the government's efforts, the people's quest for autonomy and their fight against democratic marginalization continues unabated. The government's response has been a balancing act, to say the least. On one hand, there's the need to maintain control and order, and on the other, there's the need to address the legitimate concerns of the Ladakhis. The challenge lies in finding a solution that respects the unique socio-cultural fabric of Ladakh while ensuring its integration with the larger Indian framework. The protests in Ladakh have underscored the delicate interplay of local aspirations and national interests. They have brought to the fore the complexities of governance and the challenges of balancing development with cultural preservation. With their demands unmet, the people of Ladakh continue their fight for autonomy. The government's response, it seems, is still falling short of their expectations. The protests have not only highlighted the people's resilience, but also their unwavering commitment to their land and identity. The road ahead may be fraught with challenges, but one thing is clear. The people of Ladakh are determined to have their voices heard. What lies ahead for Ladakh and its fight for autonomy? As we gaze into the future of this region, the implications of the ongoing protests are far-reaching and profound. The socio-political landscape is being reshaped, not only by the voices of dissent, but also by the unity emerging from the traditionally divided districts of Leh and Kargil. This unified front, a significant shift in the region's political landscape, paints a picture of a Ladakh that is standing together, advocating for its rights and autonomy. If the demands of the protesters are met, Ladakh could potentially see a strengthening of its tribal identity and local autonomy. The extension of the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution, a key demand, would provide safeguards against demographic changes and resource exploitation. This could also lead to a more sustainable approach to development, taking into account the region's fragile ecosystem, the pressures of climate change, and the potential impacts of tourism and industrial projects. However, the road to this future is uncertain. If these demands are ignored, the region may continue to face democratic marginalization and a lack of say in development projects. The threat to the region's tribal identity and ecology could be exacerbated, leading to further discontent and potential instability. The anger and desperation expressed by the residents could escalate, straining the relationship with the central government. In either scenario, the role of prominent figures like Sonam Wangchuk will be critical. As advocates for Ladakh's rights and autonomy, they are the catalysts of change, shaping the narrative and steering the direction of the movement. Their influence will be pivotal in determining the trajectory of Ladakh's future. The fate of Ladakh hangs in the balance, its future shaped by the voices of its people.